Hey, guess what? You're not Toby Keith. It's not all about you. It's not about me, not about I, not about number one. Oh, my, me, my. What's up, guys? This is Phillip Sessions, your public speaking coach, here to talk to you today about the speaking bars method. I promise I'm not going to sing to you anymore. But today, the R of the speaking bars method is remember, it's not about you. Yes, that's right. So that's why I say you are not Toby Keith, because Toby Keith had a song a long time ago. This kind of dates me here, where he talked about it's not all about you. Let's talk about me this time. And so when you're on stage, definitely don't be talking about you. In this case, it is about your audience. Remember, it's not about you. Yeah, well, it sounds simple. Let's break that down a little bit. What exactly does that mean? And there's really two parts to this as well that will help you out, because as you're preparing for a speech, maybe you're going to be a little bit nervous. If you remember that this speech is not about you, that's going to help you when you're up there on stage, that you are there for that audience, which is a beautiful thing for us to remember. And your audience can tell that. Because have you ever been to in a sales conversation where somebody's trying to sell you something, or somebody approaches you kind of randomly or hits you up in the DMs? They're like, "Hey buddy, long time no talk. How have you been?" You just know like something's coming. And that's exactly what it feels like when you're speaking from stage and all you want to do is talk about you. But more than that, similar to how kids, when all they're going to do is talk about themselves, if you're on a date, and I've been on dates too, where I go into the conversation like, hey, we're trying to get to know each other. And I don't mind if it's like 60-40, like more talking about the person. Now I don't date because I'm married. That's a different story. But when I was dating, I didn't mind if we talked more about the girl on the date, but I still want to talk about me, because you've got to get to know me as well. It can't be all about you. And or why are you there? Why are we talking? Like, this doesn't make any sense, because you're not getting to know me, and all we're doing is talking about you. And that's how the audience feels if you keep the message about yourself. And, oh, look at me here, look what I've done, this is what I do, this is how I can help you. And there's all this I. Your audience is not going to like that. And so it's an awkward situation for your audience when you don't remember them, or your intention behind speaking to them is simply just to sell them your product or service. Your audience is going to pick up on that, just like in the dating world, just like in the business world, where somebody's got that commission breath. You know that they're just waiting till they have the opportunity to speak. When you're speaking, you can see them, come on, let me speak now. Those things like that, your audience can tell when you're just there for you. So remembering it's not about you is applicable not only just to help keep your nerves down and but it's to help you keep you focused on your audience too, because your audience is the reason why you're there, or should be the reason why you're there. It's not about you showing that you're on stage, having the Instagram photos where you can show that you're on stage, or have a nice little reel that you can post, be like, oh yeah, look at this little nugget that I dropped here, like this was fire, stuff like that. It's about you pouring into your audience. And when you focus on your audience can feel that you're there for them. So that's why I say the third part of the speaking bars method is remember it's not about you. But how can we actually apply this? Because that is a difficult thing, because when we talk about stories, a lot of times the stories are about me. They're about my life. So how am I supposed to talk about the audience when I'm talking about me and stories that I've been through? That's a great question. I'm so glad I asked. I'm just kidding. But that's a question that you're probably thinking right now. And that's definitely one that I want to address for you. And how this applies is because people are there to learn from you. So, yes, you are sharing stories about yourself, but it's not just to show the accolades that you've had, to show how great you are, but you're trying to show people that you know where they're at, and you've just gotten to the other side. And this is where you relate yourself with the audience, and why. And if didn't watch it or don't remember, go back to the last part of the series, audience awareness and understanding. This is why you need to know who your audience is and understand them, so you can have these stories that relate with them. But then you pick stories that, yeah, maybe they're a little bit about you. Maybe there's something that you went through, but it relates with that audience. And therefore it becomes not about you, but they know they can come to you. You are that source for them to be able to get to that other side. They still need to be a hero, but you're that wise counselor. You're that mentor for them, helping them navigate through that tough time that you've already been through. So you're positioning yourself. You already are by being on that stage as the authority, but by sharing these certain stories and being focused on that audience to help them get through whatever thing that is that you're speaking on to help them get through, that's what you can do. And that's why you do share stories about yourself. So, yes, you're sharing stories about yourself. You're talking about yourself a little bit, but it's with the caveat that it's to help them out. It's not to sit there and show how great you are, or show all the great accomplishments that you've done, or show that you were in the slums, you had no money, and now you've got millions of dollars. Your story is something that they can look to see, kind of like the lighthouse. Like, hey, you're on that other side. I see what you did, and now I can go apply it for myself. And so that's kind of how you put those two together. Yes, you've got to talk about yourself. You've got to talk about your experiences, but as long as it's to share and help people understand how they can do it for themselves, they're not going to look at you as being selfish, which really just goes back to remembering it's not about you, because you could easily go into how great you've done, all the struggles that you went through, and to where you're at now, and just how happy you are for yourself, and leave it at that. Or you could talk about those struggles and really relate with that audience and let them know how they can go through it. So you could then go back like, look, I've been through this journey here. I was at this point, this low point in life, and I'm here now. And this, if I had to go back through it again, here's what I would do. And you could lay out a whole list of things for them to do to go take action on. And that's how you again tie it back to being about the audience and not about you, is by doing things like that as well, to let them know that, hey, I'm here for you. I'm going to give you that roadmap for you to go. I've been there before. And at the end, if they really want your help, either you're selling them, if you're able to sell from the stage, and give them that service or that package, whatever that looks like, that can help them, because maybe you've got a digital course or a coaching program, whatever. Or they may just reach out to you afterwards because you gave so much information, you made them feel good, you made them feel inspired, and you gave them some actionable steps that they can go and take for themselves and try and apply. And then they may stumble on something or need some help, and they'll come to you because of that. But you need to focus on your audience. And so that's why the third part of the speaking bars method is, remember, it's not about you, because it'll help you get rid of that nervousness, but it'll also help you be able to stay focused on your audience, which is going to make them be more in tune with your message and like you even more, and help you resonate with them because you are focused on them. And when you focus on your audience feels that, and they like you even more because you're talking about them, which, guess what? For all of us, myself included, I like talking about myself. You like talking about yourself. But if you flip that script and talk about the audience, they're going to like you more. Just like going on a date. If you are talking to your date, or if you're talking to your spouse about them all the time and very little about you, well, it kind of stinks in the moment. It comes out to be better for you, especially when you're in the dating scene. Now, don't let it be 100% them. Sometimes that can be a little annoying. Let them be able to ask questions about you too. But the more you can kind of talk about them and get to know them and have them talk about themselves, the more they're going to like you, because, hey, we talked a lot about me. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I felt like we had a great conversation, because on those first dates, it is awkward. And so if you can help have that conversation and talk about them, let them talk about their favorite subject, which is them, then it's going to make them feel better. So same thing for you on stage. If you talk about your audience and make it feel like it's all about them, they're going to like you more. But when you focus on yourself, like that date, your date's not going to like it. Your audience isn't going to like it. So remember that your speech, your message is about your audience. It's not about you. And that's the third part of the speaking sessions methodology. And so if you're looking forward to that fourth part, it's coming up next week. Stay tuned for that. Subscribe to the podcast. And if you're already subscribed, this is weeks, months, years after this episode released. It'll be in the playlist as well for you to see that fourth part, which is going to wrap us up on our speaking bars method.